Hello, this is Dave, and welcome to Equities Story. I'm with the amazing Mr. Wolf, and this is just general share advice and not personal advice. And how you doing, Wolfie?
Yeah, not too bad, thanks, Dave. I've got we actually got a public holiday there in Queensland, Dave. So again, I'm putting in the shift for you guys.
That's good, mate. That's good. Anyway, with the way inflation is at the moment,
I need to work every day.
holidays are cancelled.
That's exactly right.
Wolf, I started a new diet. I'll let you know.
Oh, have you?
Yeah. So, and that's why I think my throat's a bit funny, because what I thought, instead of drinking beer, I would drink vodka.
Oh, I thought you're going to go from dust to just
No.
air.
And I don't know if I'm going to continue that one, because I'll tell you what, next day, my voice still hasn't come back.
Right.
But I enjoyed the Bloody Marys, mate. Very good. Right, Wolfie, let's have a look at this. So I actually called you on the weekend.
I know. Nothing better to do than talk stocks on Sunday. But anyway.
Yeah, and I was obviously visibly upset, because I all day I'd done the Einsteins, and I was tearing my hair out, and I couldn't find and this is what the markets are like at the moment, and I just could not find a hot stock. I'm going, Wolfie, nothing feels hot, right? And we spoke about it. You calmed me down, and we looked at the world at the moment, and we looked at, obviously, the issues now in Ukraine, with possibly one of the nuclear power stations which is under attack, which is a major worry. We looked at the Middle East blowing up. We've looked at
Taiwan blowing up.
Taiwan, right? And you look at inflation around the world. I mean, England, it's what, 30% inflation, and they think they're going to put the fire out by putting interest rates up 2%. Wolf, come on, man! It's got to be the world to have a bit of gold.
Well, that's the conclusion we came to after our chat, wasn't it? Okay, we can't find really a proper story, so let's look at the drivers at the moment in this crazy world we live in. And gold's really, when you think about it, everything's there. You've set your little, your little sticks, your little everything, all the materials to get the fire going. You just need a little spark, don't you, of something to get this bonfire of gold happening. So all the ingredients are there. Gold's, sort of still in the background, not doing too much, but we're thinking that if all these little issues are out there, maybe this is time to maybe have a look at a gold play. So we found one.
So the one we put on was BGL.
Yep.
And that's because I could argue the chart looked okay.
Yep.
And we wanted to go one, at least the chart was jumping above trend. It's an Australian explorer producer, and it just got ticking a few boxes, correct?
Yeah, correct. I mean, that's exactly right. We're trying to find a fairly less riskier than some others out there, right? Plays, and it's got a few things going for it. Of course, it is developing its project, so it should be online not too far from here. It's got a nice resource, nice grades. So from all that point of view, it's okay. There's always going to be, every single story, it's always going to be some negatives in there. But generally speaking, we are trying to obviously marry the technicals with the fundamentals. So that looks decent. But, if the gold goes up, then we might find some more players to play with. But at the moment, this one looks sort of best technically, I suppose. Well, one of the better technical plays out there with a nice story to tell.
And Wolf, how far are they from actually producing? Because they're Explorer.
Well, if you can, I'm just following. What I'm following at the moment is DVP, which they have become their what do you call it? The mining contractor, right? DVP with the BGL. So that I've read their last update. So they hit the ground pretty hard. So they are advancing. So I'd say, well, let me just have a proper look to see. But I think within the next 12 months, you're probably going to see some gold pour out of BGL.
Excellent. Wolf, the other one which is actually producing, and it is a Explorer, and it's obviously got the Boda, is ALK.
Yep.
Again, not quite trendy, but certainly an exciting little gold play.
Yeah, and there you go. You've got another story. It's very different to your BGL, right? This is a producer. It's got a bit of cash flow going to it. Again, I like this story. I love the optionality of Boda, right? That can give you, it could give you a big boost later down the track if gold does have a run, and of they progress it, then maybe you have to sell it or something. So, another possible play, of course. Yeah. What else have you got? What other gold? Sorry, because I've got another couple.
So the small cap that our favorite is MEK.
Yep.
So it's actually a story that we already made 100% on in the early days.
Yep.
But a company is coming out with fantastic results. So we like the potential of MEK. We've got a good history trending or buying this story, and that's our preferred, would you say, micro cap in the gold space?
You spoke like a CEO. Fantastic results. Well,
no. Sorry, they said they were awesome, didn't they?
Oh, that wasn't these guys.
Oh, was that was someone else?
No, that's okay. Good results. Let's give us a little bit of room to breathe if there is actually fantastic results, because then we can go from fantastic to incredulous. I don't know. What's the next word after? Anyway, it's good. It's good. I like the results last time, so they are on the way for sure. They've got many optionalities in there, right? They've got their gold, they've got their rare earths, they've already got ex-doré mineral assets, and this is what they actually listed, pretty much made their name on. So yeah, look, it's all looking pretty good for little Mika. So we're 50 million market cap. We're happy to sit there.
Yeah, 32 meters at 2.2.
Yes, well, pretty good. Pretty good.
Fantastic.
Is your name CEO something or other?
Maybe they'll give me a job if I
You're going well. Anyway, that's good. 32 and 2 is pretty good.
Wolf. The preferred large cap is NCM.
Correct.
Right. Great production costs.
Yeah.
Some other ideas in Africa, WAF.
Yep.
Now, this is actually got a nice little chart and maybe could break out. So, chart-wise, WAF is a bit of a winner. In Africa as well, PRU, which is, to be honest, it's holding that trend line quite nicely. Although they have made a pretty dangerous acquisition, haven't they, into a pretty difficult country recently. So
yeah, South Sudan or something, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's okay.
They're watching all over them, going, "Yes, more gold for us."
And you've got Northern Star, which is generally speaking a pretty solid player. We're going to cut EVN out of this story at the moment just because of their costs recently were a little bit expensive, weren't they?
Yep.
So I'll just recap that. We've got BGL,
yep.
ALK.
Just stop on the BGL. I found it, so I've got 62% complete so far, right?
Okay.
The project. So I think they're talking that I think they're going to have a gold pour. Let me see. First ore in July 2022, which is like already had it. But saying that, for the full production to start off with, it's I'd say probably by the end of the year, possibly.
All right. Something to look forward to there. So we got BGL, ALK mid cap, sort of medium cap companies, MEK as our preferred sort of micro cap, large caps, NCM. Out of Africa, we've got WAF, we've got PRU, another Australian one, maybe Northern Star, but it's not trending at the moment. And maybe more of a sort of an all-round producer that actually produce gold in a lot of different places is Anglo Gold, AGG. The only thing about Anglo Gold, it's lightly traded, but if you get a strong move in the gold price, this can actually move up pretty hard and pretty quickly.
Plenty options out there for everyone to play with, whatever takes your fancy, from the small little explorers to the big producers out there.
Right, Wolf. So companies that put out announcements today, we've got AZJ, which is a dividend play, a recommended dividend play recently. What did you make of the announcement? Are you still happy to see this and have this as a dividend play?
Yeah, I mean, the dividend's still pretty good. I'm looking at it. I've just annualized it, had a look at what they've paid out for the full year. Puts it on about 5.3% yield, fully franked. So that's pretty decent. You'd go, yeah, I'm still interested. So if you are in this as a dividend play, nothing's changed. Status quo.
Sun, which is slightly down 3%. What did you make of the announcement?
It was mixed. I mean, the thing is with Suncorp, it will always pay its dividends out of its earnings, right? So if the earnings fluctuate, which they are doing at the moment, and they are going through a bit of change, they're selling at the banking arm, they're going to just become a pure insurer, right? So the earnings went backwards. So there's a good and bad stuff in that. So you've got I'm just looking at the banking stuff. The bank, that's why they're saying the bank, because the margins actually went down 14 BPSs, right? So points. So it's not, I suppose that's why they wanted to concentrate on the one thing. And if you look at the full picture here, the reasons why the profit went down 34% was due to the volatile investment markets, which I think got about 17 billion to play with, and elevated natural hazard costs, right? So what you got to take it with Suncorp is, because it's going to be a pure play insurer, it's going to be probably volatile. And also you got to take the long-term view of dividend plays, because if it's going to be fluctuating, 1 year you might get a payout, of 3.5%. Next year you might get a 7.5%, 8% yield, right? If you generalize it and move to a longer term view, what they actually pay out, the historical yield, you're looking at between 5 and 6%. So again, if you're happy with that, you're in this for the dividends. I mean, this year is not great because they're going to be paying out around about 2.5%, but overall, if you're happy with a 5 to 6% yield on a long-term basis, you're probably sticking with Suncorp. Still a good company.
Thanks, Wolfie. MND was in the news with a pretty strong contract update, which was good.
Mm-hmm.
And you can see it's not looking too bad on the chart, although I certainly would be in it from a technical point of view. SFX, actually put this stock on Einstein's, Wolfie, this little SFX. I really do quite like the chart. They came out with an announcement today, saying that US 110 million project finance facility.
Mm-hmm.
And so what's all that about?
Oh, they basically, they are cobbling together all the finance they need to develop this project, right? So they've got, if you go through the earlier announcements in July, they had the execution of the 160 million facility from the government, Aussie government, right? So they've got another 110 million project finance facility. So they're cobbling it together so they can get this project developed. So they're ticking the boxes pretty much.
All right, Wolf, and we're going to sort of end up, lastly but not least, the big story of today, BHP Billington buying OZL.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? If you actually look at OZL, it was looking a little bit weak down here, had a decent sell-off, possibly a classic time for BHP to come in and maybe try and take advantage of this bit of a sell-off and a weaker share price. By looking at the reaction of the market, they most probably going to have to pay a little bit more for it.
My first reaction was, that's the first salvo, especially since OZL was rejected it. They know how BHP operates. They like to overpay for assets. Thought that BHP can afford a little bit more. So I'd say BHP probably needs to come back with another bid, which they probably will. That's what the market's saying, because they come up with a $25 cash offer and it's trading above that. So I put potentially 27, maybe up to $30 they need to pay.
Excellent. Wolf, on that, was there anything else you want to talk about, or can we just end it on here?
Yeah, I think we'll end it on there. It's a fairly quiet start for us. I know again, we talked about a lot of these things that are happening around the globe. We couldn't understand the employment numbers in the US. They came out on Friday. They were trying to rack our brains what's going on there. But I think from our point of view, the bigger picture is we got to give it time to see how all these things, because we talked about it last week, how
Wolf, I think much bigger is these CPI numbers coming out this week.
Well, this is the thing.
Yeah.
We're gonna let's not concentrate on one thing. Let's look at the more data to come through to see a bit more of a bigger picture, to see exactly how we stand with this.
Because those employment numbers, they totally confused me. I mean,
I think it's the whole market.
538,000 or whatever people got a job, but the employment participation rate in USA was down. So less people were employed.
Mhm.
So work that one out.
Yeah, I think probably like us, we need to buy yourself a caravan. Maybe we can do like a little road trip, Dave. The Hound and the Wolf on the road.
Anyway, a little bit, certainly Wolf, a little bit odd, and we will see. This, like I said, I think those job numbers were very confusing, and I wouldn't look at them too much.
But they did scare the market, though. That's the thing, Dave. I think they scared the market, thinking, okay, we're going to have more interest rates, maybe harder than we thought that we're going to have on these numbers. But like I said, just give it another couple of days.
Also, why didn't the market look at the fact the market participation rate was down? So there's actually less people being employed.
Look, I don't know the full answer to your question. However, the headline numbers, it's not what the Fed wanted. That's the thing.
It's definitely it's definitely not what the Fed wanted.
Yes.
So Wolf, are we looking at, is our economy a mirror of what's going on in America? Are we going to have
to a certain extent? Yes. I mean, we are a free economy, just like the US. So, we would probably have some similar issues and problems as them. We are in a different spot. We are in a different trajectory, though. But we can definitely get some, get some, I suppose, similarities and go, okay, they've obviously got inflation issues. Maybe we're going to have some weird numbers coming out of here in Australia, and we have, the unemployment numbers are still very strong here in Australia too. So, maybe that's something we should take away from that. That I know that RBA said, we're gonna, we're looking that some of the inflation numbers starting to peak over, but if the unemployment numbers still come up with some crazy numbers next time they report, maybe we're going to do the same thing as America. And, oh God, here we go again. We're going to maybe need to move that to 5% interest rates.
All right. On that note, thank you very much, Wolfie. Have a great day.
All right. Cheers, guys.
Okay, mate. Bye-bye.
Bye.